today's Izula day and what I've done to make this such a personal knife and so versatile for me. See, that's the whole thing, is you can buy one of these things and do whatever the heck you want to do to it to make it personalized and versatile for you. I experimented with all kinds of paracord wrapping to give it a little bit more girth. I like a handle to have some meat to it. So way back before they were offering handle slabs, I came up with these handles. These are off of the Hest knife. It was basically the same size as the ESEE. I got rid of the Hest, but I was smart. I kept the scales. And then one day I'm sitting there looking at the scales and I'm looking at my Izula and I said, you know what? With a little bit of modification, I can make those scales fit my Izula. That is why you see this guy on the knife. There. How's that? Both sides. You can see they have aged and patinaed beautifully because they've been on this knife for maybe 15 plus years. I start to lose track of time. What's really cool about these scales is the fact that they are hollow. You hear that? Well, what I have in there is some money and some Advil. I like the Izula too. Also, no, two. But there's just something about this package and this handle that I love. When this was all said and done, I did something I'd never done before. Now, I initially had made this sheath with the cutout so that it would accommodate my handle shape. And I put the Tech Lock on here and used that and was really happy with it. But I thought, you know what would be neat is a Kydex sheath. So, against better judgment, I sent my one and only knife to a sheath maker. I'm not going to give his name because I really wasn't that pleased with the finished product. The sheath extended way up, had a thumb doohickey, and retained the knife so ridiculously hard. When I went to stick the knife in, I shoved my pants down to my knees, and when I went to take the knife out, they went up to my armpit. I modified this sheath, simply cutting away all the stuff that wasn't necessary, and wound up with this. And I put the drain hole in there. There are times when I don't really want it on my belt. Let's say it's a nice belt, I don't want to scratch it, or I'm going somewhere fancy like the dollar store. I use my pocket sheath. A true pocket sheath is one where you actually can put the knife down into your pocket. It is completely concealed, as you can see. Now, if I need the knife, all I do is take the knife out with sheath. And then I can put the sheath back in my pocket. Or if my left hand is holding whatever it is I need to cut, I can just pop the knife out of the sheath while it's in my pocket, remove the knife from my pocket, cut whatever I have to do, and then retrieve the sheath and put it back in. It's no big deal. The other thing I get asked a lot is, why did I use regular old household screws for the handles? Well, they aren't. They're rat. Back in the day, those are the screws that they provided with the little bag of parts that you got. And that's how you screwed on the MOLLE attachments and all that from the front. See, I still even have them here. That's what was provided. I like the aesthetic of them. What I liked about them on here, they give a little bit of extra girth and something to grab onto, which isn't that big a deal. But what's really nice, should I need to get into these handles, I have a couple of different options that I can do. The first one is the Swiss Army knife. So the Swiss Army knife simply goes into the slot and unscrews. You unscrew both sides, and then the handle scales come apart. Easy peasy. Now let's say you don't have a Swiss Army knife. The pull tab on your zipper will fit in that Phillips head screw and unscrew it. I thought I had Advil in here. It's a good thing I didn't have a headache. So now that you see what I have in there, I'm going to make one more change. If you're curious, this particular Swiss Army knife is the Pioneer X. And the reason why it's the X is it's a Pioneer that also has scissors. I'm going to put this $100 bill into this handle because, quite frankly, if the shit hit the fan and I found myself without my wallet, or my wallet had been stolen, you know, having your emergency $100 bill hidden in your wallet really doesn't do you any good if somebody steals your wallet or your wallet pops out of your pants or whatever. This knife isn't going to accidentally pop out of my sheath or out of my front pocket. So the knife will always be with me. So I've got $100 with me. That will get me home. I don't care where I am. That's an Uber drive, that's a cab ride, that's a bus fare, anywhere. That's why I'm changing it out, because if I really ever do find myself in a situation where all I have is what's on my back and in my pocket, I want to have a decent amount of cash on me, and this is the easiest way to do it. I will fine-tune the alignment of the handle to the shape of the knife later. So as you can see, with a little creativity, there's actually quite a bit of room in there. If I was to ever break these scales, I would actually go to the expense of buying another Hest just to get a hold of those scales. Why you don't own one? I don't know. If you already do own one, then you know why you own it and why you probably own more than one. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.